Hello and welcome to the Daily Brown Bag. Today we're going to be covering BrightLocal's SMB survey they just released. I'm Chad Hill and I'm joined by Adam Stetzer.
Hey, good morning, Chad, and welcome to the Brown Bag. As you said, Chad, we're covering a survey from BrightLocal. They've released a survey that they do every year. This is their annual internet marketing survey of small to medium-sized businesses. And this is an interesting piece of data, Chad. Their survey covered more than 736 small businesses. These are all employers that have less than 50 employees to be qualified as respondents, and most of the people responding actually have between 1 and 3 employees. This includes the owner, and these were primarily U.S. businesses. So in terms of the SMB market, really more on the small business side, most respondents having between 1 and 3 employees from the U.S. Again, over 700 respondents. So a pretty good data source. I think very interesting stuff here for our SEO reseller community. So some of the top takeaways here. We see that more small businesses plan to increase their online marketing budgets compared to last year. I know that's always a question. Is online marketing still an exciting new thing? Is it still a growing space? And this data says yes, it is. 37% say they will be increasing their online marketing budgets this year, which is a 16% increase over the answer to that question at the same time last year. This year we see more people saying that online marketing efforts are effective at bringing in new business. Also very good confirmatory news for our reseller community. 75% say that those efforts are effective or very effective. When you look at that same question last year, Chad, that 75 is up from 68% responding effective or very effective last year. So not only are they planning to spend more, but the overall sentiment on is online marketing effective for small business continues to get more positive. And the last thing I'll cover here, Chad, before I throw it to you, is that there has been an intense focus on mobile, which will not surprise us at all. We've been covering mobile for years now, and we've been watching that train pull into the station, and indeed 66% said their sites are now mobile ready compared to 59% last year. So that continues to be a big growth area for small businesses. So Chad, what are some of the takeaways from all this data?
Yeah, well, I think really I've got some more stats here and some specifics of along spend and some of the other details. But there was a question in there about how much our businesses are spending each month on marketing as a whole, and it's interesting. Only 16% are spending more than $1,000 a month. 83% are spending less than $1,000, and actually a whopping 70% are spending less than $500 a month. So that's a big chunk, and we've covered this many times. What can you really do with $500? Well, here we see here that most small businesses, those 1 to 3 employee shops across the country, really only are spending $500. The majority of them are spending $500 or less. When you ask about what percentage of that marketing budget is allocated for internet and mobile, so again, that's marketing overall, right? So now we're talking specifically about internet and mobile. Half are spending less than $300 per month on online channels. 60% dedicate less than half of their marketing budgets to online marketing, and 4% don't do any online marketing at all. In terms of channels, when people ask what is the most effective way of bringing in new business, and again, this is overall, 28% said word of mouth, 20% said SEO, 15% local directories, and 10% email marketing. So again, it's really interesting to see that 28% word of mouth, and that is what we see over and over again, is that there's still some really basic business components. No matter how great your rankings are, you still need a good brand, and you still need a good customer service, which gets you that word of mouth referral. In terms of priorities, in terms of what businesses, how they're measuring the results of their marketing, 31% said incoming phone calls is the #1 priority, 20% said website traffic, and 20% said search rankings in terms of their top 3 priorities. So again, those phone calls, a live customer on the line, still the most important thing, even if you have many page 1 rankings that people are measuring and looking for phone calls. In terms of in-house versus outsourcing, which is of course very interesting for a lot of the people that follow us and of course our business, 18% said they outsourced, and that's compared to 15% last year. 64% are doing online marketing in-house compared to 68% last year. So a little tick up in people outsourcing maybe some of the complexities that Google has continued to roll out, and just a number of different platforms out there have made people think maybe I need some help doing this. In terms of only 29% say they understand internet marketing and are doing it themselves, compared to 40% last year. And in terms of satisfaction with their outsourcer, 75% rated their consultant or agency positively. And the top three things they're looking for in an agency are low cost, of course, guarantees, and a solid reputation. So Adam, some really interesting stats. I know that we've been doing some similar surveys, maybe more focused on the agency and asking them what they're seeing and how they're looking at their business, but a lot of overlap. What do you think?
Well, I think this is very interesting data and encouraging. It's showing us that the market is still growing. People are going to be spending more. The demand is still for SEO. People like to say search engine optimization is dead, but this data suggests no, it's actually one of the highest in demand products. And additionally, we're seeing a continual uptick in the number of respondents who are outsourcing, which does not surprise me, Chad, because SEO has gotten so much more complex as Google has introduced algorithmic changes and, of course, has pushed us to new and cleaner approaches. People are finding it more complex and wanting to hire an expert. The more that SEO merges with PR activities and press releases and traditional marketing and branding, that makes sense. It's just a harder thing to do in-house. So all of this seems like very good news. And again, though, there's a sprinkling of this message that we always include, which is, well, word of mouth still really matters. When you're talking about these small businesses of 1 to 3 employees, they really can only spend $500 a month. Some of them can spend nothing, but word of mouth and having a good brand and traditional blocking and tackling is still very important, even as you venture into the online space. So, yeah, I find this data very fascinating. I urge all of our viewers to study this. The more that your business model can be built around data rather than the flavor of the month, the better you will do. And as you said, part 2 I think will be coming in the next survey that we cover, which will be our own, which specifically gets into some of the strategies that agencies are using and how they're beginning to understand this small and medium-sized business market in online marketing. We hope you'll stay tuned for that. Please subscribe, and we'll give you an alert when that data is ready.